Hi, I'm Robert Lisac, and this channel is all about being safe, fit and prepared like a modern day samurai. And today's topic is: what are the most important benefits of martial arts for present and future generations? I got the idea for this video when I was reading the book Hold On to Your Kids, which was written by Gabor Mate and Gordon Neufeld. And there are several benefits which are obvious when you're practicing martial arts. You get stronger, you get some self-confidence, you're getting fit, and so on and so on. And of course, if you do the right stuff, you are able to defend yourself. But there are things that are going beyond all that. And before I start to talk about this topic specifically, I want to go back to this book which I've read. And because there is a very interesting section which is explaining that we have a real problem that today's generations are peer-oriented. What I mean by that, and it's very good explained in this book, it's that actually when we grow up, we are trapped in a layer. And because we are trapped in a layer, for instance, in our class with people that are the same age, they have the same thinking, the same, ideas about life, and there is nothing going on to transfer the knowledge and the wisdom of all the generations from top down, except, for instance, from the teacher. And because of that, knowledge is getting lost, values are getting lost, and there is not real evolution of this generation, but actually it's degeneration, because all these things are lost. And I can also clearly see it in my case, because probably I would get much better along with my life if I was learning much more stuff from my parents, from my father and from my mother. But because I was always, or for a long period of time, trapped in these layers in my elementary school, in high school, and also on the faculty of sport, because you're always trapped in a layer of like-minded people, and there is not really a lot of learning except factual learning, and it's not passing down of wisdom which was gathered for centuries or even thousands of years. And here is why martial arts are so important in today's world. Because you can't teach martial arts in a layer, it has to come from top down. So this means there is the martial arts instructor, the teacher, the coach, who gives his knowledge and passes it down to the younger generations. And this is how the stuff worked actually all the time for the whole history of human or of mankind. And this was getting lost because people thought, if we are teaching other people or young people, students, whatever, it's the most convenient that they have the same age, the same knowledge, the same everything, and they are trapped in that sameness. And then there is only one person who is above them, and this is normally the teacher or, the coach, and so on and so on. But in ancient cultures, there was the whole village, the whole tribe, and you were not just trapped in a layer, because there were older generations you had to deal with, and there were younger generations you had to deal with. Today you have to deal only with your own layer, and you have tons of problems because you don't know what is ahead of you, and because you don't know how to deal with younger generations. This is what you have learned if you would, grow up in a tribe of Native Americans or elsewhere, where the stuff was still functioning in a natural, normal way, because this, what we have today, is not normal. So, to come back to the martial arts and combat stuff, combat sport perspective, as I mentioned, here we have still the passing on of knowledge and wisdom. It's still here, and it's going from the martial arts master, coach, teacher, or whatever you will call it, from top down to the students. And this is very good, and it's so necessary nowadays, because this is what was getting lost, as I mentioned it now several times on this video. And this is also why it's so immensely important that the martial arts coach or teacher is a well-rounded person, not only a coach in the sense that he's passing knowledge of martial arts down to his students, but also necessary life skills. And this is also important. Why? Because if you pass down as a martial arts teacher only martial arts skills to your students, it's like you would visit as a student a class of aerobics, or I don't know. It's just some moves that you remember, and then when you leave the class, you go on with your life. It's not the purpose of martial arts. The purpose of martial arts is that you're getting a better fighter, a better human being, better at everything, and that it gives you a framework to function better in your life, and that it makes you capable to be a functional human being. And this is also why I, as a martial arts coach or self-defense coach, I think that it's very valuable that the classes are not strictly, from 10 to 12 years, because then you're creating a layer again. This is why I think it's important and necessary that older and younger generations, and male and female, are also training together in a very respectful way. Why? Because this is how you are getting your social skills. Because you clearly see how valuable the lessons you are getting are from the older generations, because it's functioning. You see it on the mat, in the ring, in the cage. It's functioning. They are way better than you. And if you want to get better than you are now, you have to absorb the knowledge you can get from them. And at the same time, this teaches the older generations to pass on their knowledge in a respectful way to the younger generations. So to not beat up younger fighters, weaker fighters, but act as responsible teachers in a respectful way. And it's the same then with these students. If they're treated like that, they treat the younger generations as well as that. So they get a model. And nowadays, everything about this is getting lost, because you don't have any idea as a generation how to deal and treat older generations, and you're thinking that they are just, they are full of, what I mean, and they are not idols anymore. They are not teachers anymore. You don't respect them anymore, because you're not really exposed to real wisdom. And therefore, that's why you don't respect the older generations. And this is why so much of wisdom and practical skills are getting lost. We are literally getting dumped down, and it's like in the movie Idiocracy, where every next generation is dumber and dumber. Sorry, it is like that, because, for instance, my father is capable to fix everything, like, so many things that I am not able to do, because I wasn't listening to him and I wasn't accepting his knowledge when I was young. It's true, I try to incorporate as much wisdom now, but imagine how much more I would know if I would have respected my parents and their knowledge much more when I was much younger. So the whole point is, first, the martial arts teacher have to be really competent. They have to be highly educated. They have to be really well-rounded in social skills, and they have to be a kind of jack of all trades, so they can direct their students in every possible direction they need. Why? So they are respecting the older generation, they get the knowledge and they pass it on the younger generations, so that the knowledge that they are getting can be even upgraded and expanded, and on a higher level that they received it, because they are adding their thing. Because it's a typical Bruce Lee philosophy thing, like he said that you have to absorb the stuff that is useful, reject what you don't need, and add what is uniquely yours. This is actually the whole recipe. And there is also a very interesting fact. In Slovenia, children are spending only 17 minutes per day with their fathers. 17 minutes. So this means that they are, when they're training martial arts or when they're going to a football class or whatever sport you like, they are more time with their coaches than with their parents. More time with their coaches than with their parents. So this is why it's so important that coaches are competent. And this is also the problem. We as parents should be much more spending much more time with our children and doing stuff together, cooking together, eating together, making working out together, talking together, reading together. There are so many things you can do together, because knowledge is transferred through a good relationship. If you have a good relationship with your parents or with your kids, it goes in both directions. This knowledge is passed further in a much easier way. And this is why I suggest that you read that book. I don't get any commission because of my recommendation. It's just really a good book. Everyone should read and incorporate the knowledge you get from that book into your life. Spend, as an adult, more time with your kids. Don't push them into thousands and thousands of activities after school, so you see them only at dinner and then you send them to bed. Okay, they have to train martial arts or combat sports because it's good for them, but not, all the time, so you get rid of your kids. You have to be a good parent, and a good parent has a good relationship with their kids, so the knowledge you have and you possess can be passed down to your kids and the future generations, because this is the way that the world tomorrow will be a better place than today. This is it for today. See you in the next video. I know it was a long video, but it was necessary. Bye.